Hello and welcome to Beyond the Track, presented by eBay Motors. Did you know eBay Motors has over 85 million new and used parts online? Be sure to check out the new eBay Motors mobile app, all available at ebaymotors.com. I'm Sean Stewart with the U.S. Motorsports Association. You can learn more about the USMA by going online to saveracing.com. Hey, listen, are you feeling like we're living in a real-life episode of The Twilight Zone right now? I think never in our lifetime have we experienced something like we are going through this COVID-19 situation. And that's not just for racing. That's for all of us really around the world. But in this episode, we want to focus not on the weird stuff and the political arguments, but we really want to focus on where are we in the racing industry right now, and what do we need to be doing right now to move forward? And we want to get you some resources to do just that. So we brought on our guest today to help us organize our thoughts and get a plan sparked to move forward. He's been doing that for weeks now with the USMA and been working really hard. I think this guy, he sleeps about 4 hours a night, and he's been going nonstop since the start of this pandemic. He's been fielding calls to tracks and sanctioning organizations, been talking to legal professionals, health professionals, insurance professionals, you name it. He's been talking to them. Most importantly, though, he's been utilizing a very extensive network he's built over the years of political figures to get racing some good information, to make a case for us in racing, and to build a strong plan going forward. He's the owner of ADKL, stands for A Different Kind of Lobbyist, and he certainly is. He's been involved in local and state government advocacy work for more than 3 decades, and that is why we acquired him here at the U.S. Motorsports Association to lead our government affairs team. Please welcome to the show our very own Director of Government Affairs, Robert Johnson. And Robert, I want to just get right into it here because I know everyone is busy. We have set up a web page on our website, a 5-step plan to contacting your government affairs. We believe that's what you should be doing right now, and you can go to our website and see that plan. We've got a toolkit there with templates and all that kind of thing. Lots of information there. But Robert, right off the bat, why? Why should we be contacting our local officials?
Important to reach out to local officials. We believe at the end of the day, within a couple of months from now, having local support for your racetrack or your event reopening is going to be very, very big. Why? Because that is going to show support at the local level to your state officials, to your governor, and literally all the way up to the White House, showing that there is support in your area for your racetrack to get restarted. If you don't have that, it's just going to make it much more difficult to get restarted, in our opinion. We felt as this thing has been developing that local support is just absolutely big to get started as soon as possible. We want those local officials to be telling the state officials and even their federal officials why your event is important, why racing is important, the community value it brings, the economic value it brings, and we want the local councilman, the mayor, the commissioner, your local fire department. These are folks that you want supporting your event, that you want them to be your advocates to get your track restarted.
Robert, you had some news that you brought to our leadership groups this week that was quite significant. You noticed something going on in your home state of PA with golf courses, and that triggered you to reach out to Dave Maloney, who's the chairman of the Motorsports Caucus there in PA, and you opened up the idea of some legislation that could be positive for racing. What can you tell us about this new development?
A couple of areas now around the country that have opened up golf courses. And what happened in Pennsylvania was that the governor of Pennsylvania issued an executive order on this past Monday authorizing golf courses, marinas, and private campgrounds to open in Pennsylvania today, May 1st. Pennsylvania is under a order of no opening until May the 8th, but he authorized by executive order those 3 areas to open up. So I contacted our state representative in Pennsylvania, who I know, who is the head of the Motorsports Caucus in the Pennsylvania State House. And A day later, he came back to me and he said he would introduce legislation that would authorize the reopening of outdoor recreational activities. And he's including motorsports facilities as part of those outdoor activities. Yesterday, a memo was circulated for co-sponsors. That bill will soon be formally introduced in the State House, and we will be asking tracks in Pennsylvania to talk to their legislators about supporting that legislation. This could be a model for other states. We've been talking about North Carolina, been talking about Georgia, perhaps Ohio, maybe even Michigan, some other states, and taking it around. What that will do is, whether the legislation passes or not, it will begin to build support and promote the idea of motorsports facilities being outdoors to open up soon, and hopefully starting to allow fans in the grandstand as well, following CDC guidelines.
This sounds like you're working on the state level. Is that where most of the decisions are being made?
In the end, it may end up being a state issue, but this situation is moving and changing rapidly. We have seen now some examples where a county approved the track to reopen, and it was authorized where a county did it. So we do believe that the power here to get tracks reopened is primarily going to be county, local, county, and state, with probably minimal federal involvement at this point. So our focus, the United States Motorsports, US Motorsports Association, our focus has been local and state government relations. And here's an example where having those relationships is just critically important. We're seeing facilities who already have those relationships being able to move forward quicker than some of those who don't. So we do stand here to help you. We're going to provide you with resources, again, on our website to help you work in those relationships with your local officials. Again, and we think it's county and state or the important levels of government to get tracks reopened.
What if you reach out to your local officials, say the local health department, you ask them about requirements, but they say they don't know how to handle your track?
It's important to be asking your county health department, your state health officials, your local officials, what requirements are going to be there to be reopened. If they don't know, they may not know what to tell you. That's been happening. We suggest taking the initiative on yourself to build your own plan, as some tracks are doing. We do have a template, again, on our website we want you to take a look at. Work on building your own template. Look at your facility. Look at how you can accommodate these guidelines at your facility, whether it be at your front gate, if you're a circle track, at your front gate or back gate, circle track or a drag racing track, or even a motocross track where you have both front and back gate. Look at your concession stand. Look at your announce area. Look at your pit area. Come up with a plan where you can follow the social distancing requirements, and don't be afraid to ask questions and even present those suggestions to those local officials. And that will speed up you being able to get started, hopefully sooner.
Robert, right from the start of this, when the shutdowns began, one of the first things you told me was we need to act now to try to get racing to the front of the line because we're going to be put to the back of the line. How do we get racing to the front of the line? What role do we play in getting all sports reopened?
Great question again. We don't want racing to be at the back of the line. And there's no reason for racing to be in the back of the line. It's one of the most popular forms of sports in America. We've got millions of race fans across this country of all different types of racing. And the way to get to the front of the line is to be heard, be positive with your local officials, offer to work with those officials. It's important not to be, not to be, to be standoffish. You want to go to them and you want to say you want to race, and you want to race with guidelines, working with the local fire department, with the local police, with the local EMS, following the guidelines and the rules, talking to your leaders, maybe talking to some of your drivers, some of your fans who do know other officials, and making sure they're bringing your message back to their representatives as well, but doing it in a positive way where we're standing there, we're going to show it, and we're going to lead the way here to get particularly a lot of outdoor entertainment restarted across the country.
Every day it seems like there's something new going on with this situation. the rules of the game seem to be changing, so to speak, and it's different all over the country. I know for me personally, I'm trying to just go day by day. How can we best deal with the ever-changing guidelines that seem to just change constantly?
Guidelines will change a little bit as we go along. At the federal level, we have a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You'll see some states who are in phase red, yellow, and green. Those guidelines with CDC and those standards will change as we move through the phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. So it's important as you develop your plan to reopen to be able to be flexible and be able to work through those guidelines until you can get to hopefully a green area where the restrictions will be much more minimal than they will be at the start. So we're encouraging folks to be flexible and be prepared to change if need be. The county, you might get started and then somebody might question something, you might have to change. You're going to have to be able to move quickly on this to get started quickly.
You know, one of the first things we should be doing is reaching out to our local officials. You can, again, go on our website, saveracing.com, click the COVID-19 Toolkit button at the top of the page. It'll give you a very, very detailed 5-step plan to reach out to those officials. Second, get a resumption of racing plan to the local officials. And we're already seeing, Robert, that for several, being proactive with these plans has had a positive response. We've had local officials report back, hey, we appreciate you getting that plan to us, because the officials don't necessarily know how our tracks operate, and tracks can be a great proving ground for getting all public gatherings going again.
It's very important to, proactive is a word used, probably overused out there, but it's very important to be ready to go, advancing your cause. Don't be reactive. Don't wait for the county or the state to mandate what you can do. Put your plan together. Look at your facility, whether it's a motocross facility, a drag strip, a circle track. Look at what you can do to move folks around. I see some of the circle tracks this year are starting to more offer allowing people to stand in the infield. Now, again, if you've got restrictions in your grandstand, maybe you can allow for some more infield access, maybe to get your numbers up to a minimal percentage, where you can at least have a shot of making of paying your bills to open the racetrack that night. So think outside the box, and that's a good way of going. And we will be there. The USMA will be here to support your efforts in doing that. And we are going to be looking for positive examples where tracks are moving forward here in the next month or so. We want to highlight those examples, and we want to also show our public officials how racing is a good community partner, bringing community benefits, bringing economic benefits, and just bringing good excitement for fans alike across our country.
Well, Robert, I can't think of a better way to end the conversation than on that note. Those are some great statements. And listen, we appreciate all your hard work over the past several weeks to get our racing industry some much-needed information and resources. We know you've been working very, very hard, and it does not go unappreciated. With that said, get some rest, my friend. We still have lots of work to do. Robert Johnson, Director of Government Affairs for the U.S. Motorsports Association, thank you again for coming on.
John, you're welcome.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to visit saveracing.com, where you can learn more about our organization. You also can find that COVID-19 toolkit. It'll be a blue button at the top of the page. Click that. There's all kinds of information. We're going to be updating that weekly or daily whenever we get new information. We've got lots more coming next week. So if you go there now, be sure to keep checking back. And hey, if you haven't done so yet, go to our website, saveracing.com, and become a registered member of the USMA. It's totally free. It's fast. It's powerful. More now than ever, we really need to be uniting as an industry. Once again, a very special thanks to our guest host, Robert Johnson, and to all those that support not only this show, but motorsports all over our nation: eBay Motors, Optima Batteries, Lucas Oil, and Safety Clean. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, Godspeed, everyone.